Hey everybody, it's Brick Smith again, and we're here again this week with Forever Sorting with Kevin A. Hinkle. And if you haven't figured out what the show is, it is just an interview of Kevin A. Hinkle. And I say just an interview, but it's getting to know more about Kevin and his infinite Lego knowledge and experiences with the Lego group and the Lego stores that he's worked at, and the lugs and the mocks and the conventions and the basement and the collection. So on.
Hashtag all the things.
All the things. This is episode 4. We're happy to have you, Kevin, again. Before we get started and even introducing Kevin, again, like you don't already know who he is. I did a unprofessional poll a while back, a couple of weeks or whatever, and said, is the runtime good? And I got a resounding, make it longer. So with that said, there's potential that we were going to go a little bit longer. And I think we will still have just as many episodes because my man, Kevin, if you guys have already known, he is a talker.
I'm sorry.
That's what you're here for. We need to hear you every word. Real quick, I want to thank Kevin for facilitating this autograph from Matthew. What's his last name? Ewald.
Yeah.
He was on Galador. He played Mr. Bluetooth, and he was at Brick Fair. And I have not, like I've said in the video, I have not watched all the episodes, but I did start it on Kevin's recommendation.
Nice. So are you, like, how many episodes in are you? 1, 2, 3?
I'm at 3 or 4.
Sure. Okay. Nice.
So I don't know if there's any peril coming. I'm sure as whole.
I can't give you the secrets.
Yeah. I cannot stand spoilers. It has not been long enough.
Nice.
By the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you are wanting to watch this, and you should, every episode is on YouTube, our home Forever Sorting with Kevin A. Hinkle. So with that said, I have rambled entirely too long already. No one wants that. So I'm going to go ahead and put Kevin, our man, on the big screen here. And Kevin, I'd just like to welcome you again. And again, I'd like to thank you for doing this for me and the community. I appreciate it, and so do they. And it has been received very well. We've done, if you guys don't already know, we've done 4 episodes, 3 regular ones, and then a Brick Fair special, which Todd really enjoyed. That's what I heard. He really enjoyed the fact that we put that down for him. Yeah, see, I got him on the
absolutely.
Todd loved it. But like we always start it, Kevin, can you tell these fine folks where to find you? Because I'm not going to put it in the description because I never do.
That's all right. Yeah, thank you. Thank you again for kind of emceeing this or hosting this, if you want to say. And thank you to everyone who's actually watched the other episodes, have had any interest in it. It means a lot to me that people have an interest in hearing the stories I have to say. So, but yeah, I'm Kevin. If you didn't already gather that, I can be found on my website, which is kevinahinkle.com. I am a freelance artist. I do graphic design, animation, illustration, and I'm on every form of social media. So if you'd like to follow me, it's at Mr. Kevin Hinkle, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Flickr. I have a Patreon. I have a DeviantArt. If there's a social media, I probably have it. And if you have an interest in just following my work, that would be Mr. Hinkle Draws. And I do have mocks, original Lego sculptures. I do consider that part of my art as well. So that's also shared on my art channel. And Mr. Hinkle Draws is also on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and all those good things. So
wonderful. I personally am following as many of those accounts as I can possibly find, and stuff that you don't know about.
That's my friends, is how we do it.
Yeah, I got some of them secrets.
No, you know what? As you would say, my friend, that's some hot stuff right there.
That is some hot stuff right there. Also, just this is a side note, and it's not real important, but Kevin likes to write down the occasional awkward people, taking it as far out of context as he possibly can, and then bringing it back and showing everybody how awesome it actually is.
You know what? Here's, speaking of quotes, I don't know if this would count as a quote, right, but there was a colleague that I used to work with at Lego, and he was a merchandise allocator. So his job was to look at inventory of Lego products and make sure a certain number of Lego stores got what they needed when they needed to get it.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was working in the Lego stores, I was in that like district, if you want to say, that he oversaw. So we kind of got to know each other back in the day. We knew each other for many years. And then I moved to corporate, and we kind of developed a different relationship because we were no longer had anything to do with each other in terms of work. So we became, and we became close friends. And eventually he left Lego and he became a lawyer. He still practices law to this day. But at our farewell lunch, we had a farewell lunch for him. My going away speech was to read him an email he sent me in 2008. I was like, his name was Jamie. And I said, Jamie, I would like to take my opportunity to read you the first email you ever sent me. And I just stood up and he goes, how do you have this? I was like, because, and I unfolded this piece of paper, speaking of quotes and stuff.
Yeah.
And I read him the most mundane email about how I, as a store manager, had failed to do some little thing in the system. And he was irritated at me, but it was all nice corporate fluff. And he goes, Kevin, I couldn't have asked for a better going away speech. And I go, here you go. Here's the email if you want to take it.
You should have framed it.
I should have done that. So I like to capture people's things they've said and
their essence, as it were.
And definitely out of context is the best.
Absolutely. Speaking of quotes and questions, I like that segue there. I just nailed it shut.
I do.
A friend of ours, mine and Kevin's, a friend of ours, I don't know if you guys ever heard of Brick Blaze. We were having a conversation with him the other night, and Blaze came up. He's like, you know what you guys need? And we're like, no, what do we need? He's
Tell us.
I said, yeah. And we said, tell us. And he said, you guys should let people ask Kevin questions and then let Kevin answer them via videos. And kind of like, and I don't know if Kevin knows what this is, but it's the Brick Czar answer thingy.
Yeah. I've seen a few.
Those are awesome. I've asked a few questions in them and gotten wonderful responses. So what I would like you to do is one of two things, ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead and either in the comments below, ask the question, and then I'll ask it to Kevin, and we'll do a video on it. And of course, we'll give you a shout out. So that will only help your channel. Maybe should have said that. Whoops.
Sub for sub. My question is sub for sub.
Sub for sub. Or you could actually do a video question, which, of course, the more Lego people are putting Lego content of any kind on YouTube, the more YouTube will pay attention to us.
The better.
As a collective community. So either way, you want to do it. But if you do a video, send it to me or send it to Kevin via
anything.
Instagram, text message, snail mail.
Ooh, if that happened, that would be awesome.
That would be great.
I mean, there would be a slight, pause going, wait, this is my home address. But then it would be kind of cool.
No. I've spoken with Kevin about this. If the question is inappropriate, silly, or completely outrageous, don't expect us to do it. But if it is absolutely a respectable, legitimate question that is not too personal for Kevin, he'll answer it. So,
yep.
We want to thank Blaze for that great idea. And
thanks, Blaze.
Get those questions in, folks, so we have time to record said answers. And you guys I think you guys will enjoy it because I will enjoy asking Kevin your questions.
Nice.
Yeah, I think that's good.
I agree to all these terms.
Okay. He signed a contract earlier. You just, yeah. There it is. See the pen?
Signed it.
So, thanks for listening through all of that intro. That was the only good thing was Kevin's story.
Someone please go into the comments and go video starts at, and then they put the timestamp.
Yes, please. but make sure you ask a question too. All right, Kevin. So we're on episode 4 of Forever Sorting, and forever talking.
Yeah.
So we left off. Kevin had just built his second mock and
Oh, yeah.
started working at some store in Colorado. I don't know the name. He's a fan of saying the name. Say it again.
Yep. So this was at Colorado Mills. That was the name of the mall. So it was this was the Lego outlet store at Colorado Mills in Lakewood, Colorado.
And he was also talking about Stuart and how Stuart convinced him to join the Lug, Cow Lug.
Yep.
And that's where we left off in Kevin A. Hinkle's life. And that was in the year of our Lord
2005.
There we go. There you go. The year of our Lord 2005. So, Kevin, you worked at the Lego store for a while. You were part of that Lug for a while. I'm going to leave a pretty wide open question here for you so you can just divulge on any part of it that you'd like.
Sure.
What happened next?
Yeah. So that was, I mean, that period of my life was super fascinating, I think, even for me to look back on it. It was like, man, so much stuff happened in that period of time that I didn't really think was a big deal. But of course, I guess we all do that, right? We look back and go, that was a big deal. You know, I mean, it's inevitable, I guess. But so yeah, I started working at the Lego store in Colorado as a sales associate. And for people that are, interested in Lego stores now, they'll know that there is no such thing as a sales associate. That's not a role. There's a brick specialist.
Oh.
And so that was a transition over the years. When I started, they were all called sales associates. And now kind of the no offense, the bottom tier is brick specialist, which is, fancy word for a sales associate. So, but no, go ahead. Do you have a question?
Oh yeah, no. I asked Mike what his job was there, and he said he was a brick specialist, and I was like, "Ooh, a brick specialist!"
Right.
And I guess it's just they just hired him off the street.
Right.
He built a microphone and showed it off to us, Philly. That's where I know it from.
Nice.
So Philly store.
Shout out.
And
hey, mad props to all the people that work in the stores. I mean,
it was the Discovery Center. I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's, same thing. It's out in the field. It's directly in front of consumers every day.
Boots on the ground.
Boots on the ground. I mean, that is so important. I can't, I have mad respect for anyone that works in a Lego store. I always will, because it's not easy. There's a lot of pressure from corporate for them to really know customer service, and not just customer service, but like one-to-one with children, with families, kind of being able to connect with grandparents, with gift givers, as they call it, the grandma shopping for a Christmas gift or a birthday gift. And the thing is they tend to kind of downplay the product knowledge requirement. Like, well, you don't really need to know, but you do, you have to. So it's kind of one of those, catch-22 where it's like, well, we don't really require it, but you absolutely need to know it in your job. And so you got to know all the product, and the Lego product portfolio is vast. And if you think that you can get away with just knowing what's current, no, not at all.
No,
because I mean the kids, children, not adult fans, not collectors and like children will buy a DK book that's like best Lego sets of all time, and they'll circle some set from the 80s. Yeah. And grandma will come in with that book and she'll say, my grandson wants me to buy this for Christmas. And you're like, that set has been out of production for 20 years. So you have to really have a good understanding of the product. You have to be able to connect with children. And then on top of all that, you have to be a speedy cashier. You have to be a quick merchandiser where you can put your products on the shelf and arrange it in certain ways. You have to be a steward of the Lego brand and represent the brand well, because people that work in the Lego stores are Lego Group employees. They're not, it's not like a franchise. It's not a third-party entity. They work for the Lego Group officially. And so I have mad respect for people that are out there doing that and then speaking with these customers, eye to eye every day. Mad props to those people. So they
Mike, he did good stuff. I think we built a sheep. It was fun.
Nice. We built a sheep. It was fun.
Sheep. Yeah.
Maybe I should write that one down. We
built a sheep.
it was fun. But so yeah, I was working there, and yeah, a lot of stuff happened. I mean, in my own career, in my life. I mean, this was also when I was going to college, so I was studying animation, and my work, I guess, in Lego, and also my interest in Lego and the hobby was absolutely seeping into my education. It was seeping into my life. I mean, that's just kind of what it does.
Yeah.
It's all either up or downhill from there, depending on how you look at it. But not in a negative way. I mean, I don't have any regrets to that. But like in school, I had a lot of studio classes because it was an art school. So you have a lot of studio classes where you're drawing, where you're animating. And it was very common for me to be drawing minifigures or to be using Lego minifigures for stop motion, even though I'm doing it at work. I mean, I was like living it every day. And it was fun. And I was rebuilding a collection at home, that I had to start over because I had given it to my younger siblings, as we talked about a couple episodes ago. Right. Yeah. Episode 1, right? Maybe? Number 1.
Bucket.
All the way back.
Lost.
All the way back to number 1. So yeah, I mean, if I recall, so some of the interesting things, let me do this. Some of the interesting things about working at that store back then was, first of all, outlet store. What in the world is that?
Right.
I mean, most people know what an outlet store is. It's this offshoot of the major brand chain that gets all the hand-me-downs and the leftovers and the older inventory, the stuff that gets hacked and slashed for pricing, and they just need to push it out. Get rid of it so the rest of the stores can have the new stuff.
Right.
And believe it or not, there were Lego outlet stores once upon a time. There were actually 4 outlet stores.
That's the dream. Bring those back.
That's the dream. So there was the one that I was working at in Colorado. There was one in Atlanta. There was one in California. And then there was one in Virginia. So there was 4, and there were the 4 outlet stores. And we looked vastly different than any other Lego store. It would be like night and day between looking at a regular Lego store and our Lego store. So we did not have the beautiful yellow brick on the ceiling. Mm-hmm. There was no ceiling. It was sprinklers and the top of them all. Beautiful, right? I mean, that was all we knew. So it was like, this is just what our store looks like. Right. We didn't have the kind of it's like slightly spongy tile on the floor. Right. It's a special material so that kids don't bust their heads open when they fall on it. In most locations, some locations actually have hard floors and the really nice spots, but most Lego stores have kind of that spongy tile. Mm-hmm. We didn't have that. We had concrete floors, all just gross gray concrete floors.
Gross, not Lego yellow, gross gray.
Gross gray.
Thanks for dialing it in, Lego.
Old gray, new gray. It was just gross gray. We didn't have what they call the brand ribbon running around the whole circumference of the store, that white strip that has the little circles. Mm-hmm. And you have all the cool little models. That didn't exist. We didn't have that in our store. Our shelves were black mesh wiring. And you would hook these yellow metal bullnose shelving on it. So it would kind of round out at the corner, and it was yellow, it was metal. And again, it just didn't look like any Lego store. It was totally different.
Terrible. It almost seems like it's painful for you to recant the disgusting look of your first store.
Well, it's so great because, like I said, we didn't know any different. I mean, this was our store. The only way we knew that we looked differently is when there was a new launch of a product, there would be instructions to set up something in the window, and people that go to Lego stores, they know the stuff in the window changes out. There's new graphics, there's new banners, there's new cases. So we would get a directive, which had some instructions like, here you go, make your window look like this, and here's your box with your materials. So that would show up from UPS or FedEx or whatever, and we get like this. We get this instructions, and it would say, for example, Aqua. What was it? Aqua Shark? No. Aqua Raiders. That was like the newer one. I remember when Aqua Raiders came out. We got an Aqua Raiders directive saying, make your window look like this. By the way, Colorado Mills, Atlanta, Potomac Mills and Ontario Mills, turn to page whatever. So you get this direct, and we go, oh wait, hold on, let's find ours. There we are, and we go to like the last 2 pages of this vast booklet, and it would be like, put banner up in window. Like, all right, so because we didn't have anything else, so like all these other stores have these complicated rollout plans because they had to do this, they had to do that, they had to, just things that I didn't register with me because I said, we don't have that. So my first realization of how ugly our store was when I went to another store, when I started working at it, and I go, hold on. I was like,
wait a minute.
And those don't exist anymore. So all the outlet stores, so the outlet stores as a concept was phased out. There's no such thing as a Lego outlet store. And then all of the stores that were outlet stores over the years were remodeled to look like regular Lego stores. So Lego. Yeah. And I mean, it's nice. They all look the same now.
Yeah.
So the store that I worked in, I never saw it look like a regular store. It was always the way I remember it. It wasn't remodeled until maybe 2 or 3 years after I left, when they finally got remodeled into a regular Lego store. And it's kind of an interesting feeling, because they remodeled it and they took the opportunity when they remodeled it to move it. So they moved the location into a different spot of the mall. Okay. So in a lot of ways, the Lego store I worked at is gone. It doesn't exist. It's not in the same location. It doesn't look the same. It's not the same name. But it's still the same. It's the same store. But to me, that store's gone. It doesn't exist anymore. But yeah, so we were an outlet store. So we did have old things. I remember one of the points of my training was, well, remember that customers are going to come in and they're going to want the newest Lego theme, and no, we don't have it, and no, we will never have it. And I'm like, okay, because the outlet stores never got the new things, so we would have to wait. I think if I recall correctly, we had to wait a year.
Wow. Like
that was the outlet thing. If a Lego set came on the shelf today, we got to wait a year until we get it. So that was a little weird because, of course, we had a Toys R Us kind of near us. We had a Target near us. We had a Target in the mall. So they would have the sets current. And of course, you can imagine consumers coming in going, but you're the Lego store. And it's like, oh, well, here's the story. And you have to tell them the thing every single time. But the thing is that we would have the old stuff so much longer than anybody else would. So they go, well, I wanted to get this, but you don't have it. But hey, you have this thing that Target doesn't have anymore. So we would have the old stuff, and it was almost always marked down because it was on sale. Mm. And this was, a long time ago when people didn't buy Lego.
What?
I know, right? I mean, our store was such a low volume store. I mean, we didn't make any money. I mean, I think we were trying to make like $1 million in a year. Like that was our, and that's ridiculous. Like that is so insanely low. Like that was just kind of like our hopes and dreams were to make $1 million in that year. It's nothing. I remember.
That's ridiculous. Come on.
I mean, and the thing is I don't remember. I might have mentioned this on an earlier episode, but when I was in those early days, the whole staff of that store was probably about 6 people. Like that was the entire roster of staff. And you would have one person in the morning, one person in the evening, and you'd have about an hour to maybe 2 hours overlap in the middle, and that's your whole staff for the day.
Wow.
Because you don't need anybody else. So, it was just like there was just nobody there. But we had some interesting things. I do have sad memories of lots of Lego products I did not purchase that I should have.
Sure.
Because I was also a college kid trying to provide for his family, and it's still just a part-time job. But we had, I kid you not, we had pallets of the Cloud City Star Wars set. We had the Wright brothers plane.
Oh, good.
We had the USS. Is it the Constellation or the sailboat that's in Boston? I think maybe it's Constitution, the USS Constitution, but it was a black sailboat that was gorgeous.
I don't know that one. That's out of my pay.
Right. Someone can help us maybe and put it in the.
There you go. Yeah, if you guys know what he's talking about.
It's a black one. It's a black U.S. ship. I think it's because I remember seeing it. I went to Boston and I saw it.
Constipation?
Constitution, maybe, or
Oh, it's a
Constellation.
constipation. No.
Did you say not the Constipation? This is not ad sponsored by what's the name of that stuff?
H.
No, the pink. I can't remember the pink.
Pepto-Bismol.
Not sponsored by Pepto Bismol.
Yeah, okay. My bad.
Yes, I love it. But yeah, I mean, there was so many good things. We had like the old Star Wars sets. I mean, they were all the yellow skin. They hadn't moved to flesh tone yet,
Right.
or at least we didn't have them in the store yet because we had the old stuff.
Wait, now, ladies and gentlemen, let's put a timeline here. The flesh tones came in, I think, 2002 or 2003.
It might have been 2002 because it was with the NBA sets.
Okay.
So
he's talking about being in his store in 2005.
In 2005, yeah. Old. Hashtag old stuff.
Hashtag old stuff.
And it's great because, if you go back and look at some of the old photos of me or friends in the store, I try to take photos every now and then. We had a store camera, like a digital camera. I think it was probably this big because it was, but you can go like find the boxes and go like, oh, look, there's that. And oh, there's that one. Which is kind of neat.
Left right on the shelf.
Yeah. But see, I didn't buy any of those things, but I remember like I have vivid memories of me like holding a stack of like 10 Cloud Cities and walking them out to the sales floor and like kneeling on the ground and putting them on the shelf. I never bought one. Yeah. And we all know the story now of how Boba Fett himself goes for a ridiculous amount of money and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, there was a lot of really good products. We had a lot of Bionicle stuff, like the canisters and things that were all being heavily marked down. I mean, canisters for like $2 or whatever. We also had some odd, what Lego calls extended line items. So like clothing, foam swords, stuff like that. But we had goofy stuff. We had like there was a Four Juniors line, if you know that. So there was like the Jack Stone, but then when Jack Stone was done, there was a Four Juniors, which was almost the same as Jack Stone, but it was called Four Juniors, like with a number 4. Mm-hmm. And they had like pirates. So they were kind of goofy. And one of the pirates had a giant machete. No, not like a butcher knife, a butcher knife. And so we had a foam butcher knife in the store. I said, this makes no sense. It's so, you could get the little weird looking Four Juniors pirate with a butcher knife and then buy a giant foam butcher knife.
That's the dream, isn't it?
It's
that Four Juniors, they had a set, and I hate to cut you off.
Nope, please.
They have a pirate ship, man, and that pirate ship has the biggest bolt hole I've ever seen.
It's red. It's red, isn't it? I think I
you got it. Yeah, go get it. Go get it. We can
stand by.
Oh my gosh, folks! As Kevin goes off and to find props for us. I was looking at a big, I can't remember if it was me or Brick Jams. Hey, shout out to Brick Jams. We were looking at something locally here in this area. They had that bolt hole. He might actually have it. I don't remember. Next time I see him, I'll ask him about it. And then I'll definitely post a picture on Instagram and tag Kevin A. Hinkle in it. And that way you guys can see that. What's up? Nope, he's still. Nope. That.
Okay. So I have to. It's in 3 parts.
I can't wait.
So I'm gonna assemble these parts back together.
Yeah.
It's so ridiculous.
He's actually not sorting. He's building, folks.
The title's misleading. Clickbait. So all right, for comparison, because we like comparisons.
Yeah, we do.
This is a current boat hull that you would probably buy in like a fire set. All right.
Why do you think it's a fire set?
Because it's red. So here we go. And then this, so great. This boat hull.
This thing is ridiculous.
This is, I mean.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah,
Look, it's huge.
it is.
This is a Four Juniors bolt hull. I don't even know why I have this. I just do. And yeah, see, it comes apart like this. It has these little
That's great.
into three. It's the like this is definition of useless. I think
You know what we need to do? We need to get more middle sections and make it really big.
make it the Four Juniors yacht.
There you go. Hashtag, yeah. Put it, make a Titanic mock out of it.
But I'm sure someone could actually do something really cool with this. But it sits in my useless bins part is where this sits in, which we all
That's what that is.
see. We all
Thing.
have one, right? We all have a bin of stuff that we're not going to use. But this thing is just one.
It looks like the number 10.
It's great. So
Great.
yeah, Four Juniors, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That hit me because I knew exactly what you're talking about, and I like to show. See, Kevin's not the only one with the knowledge of Lego.
Absolutely, my man.
Whoop. Okay.
So yeah, we were talking about stuff that the store had, and let's see what else. Oh, so back in those days,
back in the day,
and I'm just kind of recounting tales from back then.
yes,
there was no such thing as a Lego VIP card. That did not exist.
right.
So we had the Lego loyalty card, and that was a paper card that folded in half, and it had circles across it. I don't have any anymore. I used to for a long time, but we had a old-fashioned, self-inking stamp, circular self, and it had a minifig face on it.
Nice.
And so the concept is pretty similar to the way VIP works now. We would say, well, for every $25 you spend, you get a stamp. For every 8 stamps, you get for your first 8 stamps, you get a $10 gift card. Okay. For your second 8 stamps, you get a $20 gift card. So, I mean, it was slightly different. I think when they rolled out the VIP, they were telling us in the stores that, like, it's pretty comparable to how the old one worked because with VIP, it actually tracks, like, every single cent you would spend versus the old loyalty card it was only in those $25 increments that you get a stamp. So, like, if you spent 26, oh, well, you get the stamps for the 25.
Crap.
The rest is out. But, I mean, it was an interesting sales motivator because you'd say, well, you're $5 away from that next stamp. And so people would be like, oh, I got to go get another thing. And so some people, not a lot, but
you know how the Mayfalls are.
Yeah. So we had that thing. We had a Lego loyalty card. I remember, I mean, this was not digital at all. This was very hands manual. If you got a $10 gift card or a $20 gift card, we would have to get out a sheet of paper that had like a grid on it that would say, all right, because I'm giving you a $10 gift card, I have to collect your name and your email and your phone number, I think is what it was. Can you please fill this out? And that was just kept on record in the store, like in the filing cabinet, like it didn't go anywhere. But it was one of those precautions that they wanted us to do. And some people get really, really testy with that stuff. They go, nope, no, I'm not gonna do it. It's like, well, I can't give you a free $10 gift card then. So that was fun.
They say, "Well, give me the number to customer service."
Well, that happens. That happens too. That happens too. So yeah, back then, again, as I think I mentioned a couple episodes ago, or the last one, 22 Lego stores in the world.
Right at the time, correct.
That was all. So in the United States, because there was none in Canada at that time either. This was just the U.S.
Poor Canada.
The whole country was split into 2 districts. So you had the East Coast and the West Coast, and
District 12 and District 13. No, that's
right. That's the thumbnail for a little while until we make a new one.
There you go.
There we had 2 district managers. So that's the way Lego brand retail still operates, where you have a store manager, a district manager, and then actually now they have regional managers too. But back then, 2 districts, 2 district managers. They were both named John. So you had John for the East Coast and John for the West Coast. And Colorado was really weird because if you looked at the map, all of them, all the stores were on the sides of the U.S. and then Colorado Mills. We were the only store that was like in the middle. So
I bet y'all belong to John, right?
we correct. we were a West Coast store, and of course we were like, well, okay. So we were West Coast, but yeah. So we very small staff. When I came on, we had a store manager, a supervisor, and then everybody else was a sales associate.
Oh my!
So what's really important for people that are taking notes for my career,
yeah, right?
That Lego store did not have an assistant manager. That was not a thing. I didn't know it was a thing. Nobody knew it was a thing. Nobody was in that role. We all assumed that was the chain of command. Lego had sales associates, they had supervisors, and they had a manager. That was
right. Yeah,
that's what we thought.
You guys lived under a rock over there in Colorado. I'm sorry.
We kind of did. We kind of did.
Under a rock. I'm sorry. That was not good either.
Under the Rockies.
Under the Rockies.
Yep. Under the Rockies.
Seems like y'all weren't privy to the insider information, which was every other single Lego store besides the other three.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, that was a thing.
Seems like the redheaded stepchildren of Lego stores.
We used to joke about that we were the,
Yeah.
So that was it. That was the reality. That was the thing. Because I was in school full time. I was a full time student. Not to say that I wasn't by the books, I wasn't a full time employee, but I worked full time hours.
Yeah.
You know that as soon as you get switched into the system as full time, they got to give you benefits. So I wasn't a full time employee. I was a part time employee, but working full time hours while I was also a full time student. So it was difficult. It was a lot of time away from home.
That sucks.
But it is what it is. Again, I have a very supportive wife and supportive family. Normally what I would do is my classes would be concentrated like into 2 days. So they'd be like, I'd have classes all day Tuesday and all day Thursday.
Okay.
That was a very common schedule for me, would like be 2 days, maybe 3 days, where I'd have like just those days would be jam packed from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. with classes. But then the other days I would work. So then I'd work, a normal shift on a Monday and a Wednesday and over the weekend. I was a closer often. So another interesting thing. Here's another interesting thing.
Right.
I was a sales associate. I was not a supervisor. I was not an assistant manager because I didn't exist, and I wasn't a store manager. But I was given a key, and I was taught how to close a store. I was not taught how to open the store. I was taught how to close it. And I don't know, thinking back on it, like in retrospect, I don't know if that was okay to do that. I mean, I was not an authority at all, but I don't think that was okay to do that. But nonetheless, I thought it was cool. I was like, hey, cool. They're trusting me with more responsibilities. So yeah, I was a closer, but I was still just an associate. So I was given like the right codes to log into the machine and close it all down and all that kind of stuff. So a lot of times I was the closing guy. I'd come in, I think I would be in at 1-ish maybe. So like 1 to close. And it's a mall. So you know how mall hours work. It's you usually close at 9. And then you're there for an hour and a half till you go home. But yeah. Any questions so far?
So that's just the first part of the basic structure of your store specifically. The way it looks and the way it felt, how hard you had to grind to get done doing what you were doing, and the level of responsibility that Lego put on you very early on. The Lego group, the Lego store, whatever, the Lego store outlet, whatever, which one you want to call it, that they put it on Kevin now we're going to break down, and I'm going to tell them how you were, 20 at this time or 21?
So I became a store manager at 23.
Okay.
So math. Yeah. Let me see. Can I use the good? Don't make fun of me. I'm gonna use calculator.
No, you're good. Yeah, I think you were born you were born in like 95?
85.
I know. See if you're paying attention. So
I'm listening. Listening.
When you started there, you told me you were 20, and that was 05.
Yeah, 2000. Yeah.
So he was closing the store at 20.
Yep.
For a national international chain of stores.
Yeah.
Without being supervisor or store manager.
Nope, that's a thing.
A lot of responsibility for such a young fella. No
It
matter,
was.
no
It
matter.
was. And it was cool.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like I was honored. I was like, that's sweet.
Yeah.
I'm pretty confident I didn't get any extra money for doing that, but again, this is all in hindsight. This is hindsight.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the structure of that, and we only had the one supervisor and the one manager. So like that was all, and most of the time, again, didn't seem so odd then. Seems odd now.
Right.
But usually the store manager and the supervisor would both work in the mornings.
Of course they would.
And then I would come in and close, and I'm like, yeah, sure, it's all good. And then now I'm like, that wasn't good scheduling. You should have had the supervisor close because she's higher on the chain. I shouldn't be closing at all. But it's all good. It's all good.
I got a question for you, and this is the first. Now I don't know if Kevin has divulged this. He told me the first 4 years was at the same store. So from '05 to '09, you were at that store.
Right.
And I'm jumping the gun a little bit. I want to hear the story before we. Then we'll end it on this one. The story of the most. We'll go ahead and jump right into it. Most obnoxious customer or the biggest pain in Kevin A. Hinkle's butt in those first 4 years. Now, it could be an employee if you need it to be.
Sure. Oh, I got lots of good ones.
Yeah, I want to hear the worst.
But one, okay, the one that always sticks in my mind from that location. There was tie for two.
Ooh, well, let's hear them both.
We'll go through both. So one of the evenings that I was working by myself and closing the store, this gentleman came in. He was probably in maybe mid-40s, I'm guessing.
Mm-hmm.
He definitely had an accent, maybe Italian accent or something. But I mean, he spoke English, but he had an accent, a heavy accent, and he wanted to fill a pick-a-brick cup. Also, we didn't have pick-a-brick cups when I started working at that store. We had pick-a-brick bags. You fill a bag.
Nice.
I think Legolands maybe still do that, but okay.
Yeah, I've got to pick a brick bag that Brick Jams. Shout out to Brick Jams again, who brought me back from Orlando.
Yeah, they do it by weight, right? Like they weigh the bag.
So yeah,
we didn't do it that way, but I'm pretty sure we had their bags. Like they would there was an agreement somewhere where we had the bags, and we would sell those. But okay. An aside. So he wanted to fill a pick-a-brick cup, and as most people do, AFLs kind of take it for granted that they know how the pick-a-brick wall works. Oh, I want pieces, I put in a cup. But every other person on the planet does not have any clue how that frickin' wall works. And I said frickin'. I didn't use a profanity.
Right.
Nobody knows. It's
how does it work?
It's like the most it's like how they sit there and they hold that cup and they go, so how does this work? And it's just like,
You want to hear a funny? I'm going to interrupt you with a funny story. My wife and I were on our honeymoon in 2013. I had just been in AFOL for a little over 6 months or so, and we went into the Lego store. The first thing I asked is, why do you guys selling the slides into individual bags? These orange slides. And my next question was, how does that work?
and it's one of those things where it's an innocent question.
Yep.
But 1,000 times a day, every single day, and it's no wonder that I'm sure some people, like, depending on the day, they probably give snippy answers, or they're just because that's one of those questions that you just get asked all day long.
Imagine.
And so this guy came in, he's like, how does this work? And you're like, here we go. And so I explained to him how it works. And, you fill up the cup. There's a base rate for the cup. The cup has to close. You can't sit there and come up with this thing that's floating up here. It's like the cup has to seal. You'll get it for this much. You can have a large cup or a small cup. So all was good. All was good. He goes, all right, yeah, I'll fill one for my son or whatever. So he sat there for a while, probably 15 minutes maybe, filling this cup up with random stuff. No big deal. Right. Went about my business. I was cleaning, stocking the store, straightening up shelves or whatever. Made his purchase. Thanked him for his business. He went on his way. And so hour later, maybe more, maybe 2 hours later,
Mhm.
He comes back in, and he brings out the picker brick cup, and he goes, "I'd like to return this. I decided I don't want it anymore."
Oh dear.
And I sat there and I go,
I heard of a story like that.
and I go, "Sir, unfortunately, out of every single thing in this entire store, there are two things I cannot return. I cannot return gift cards,
Mhm.
and I cannot return picker brick cups." And I probably, like I just said it to you, I probably didn't say it that way. So it was very polite. I was very courteous. I was very understanding and professional. But I was
Right.
like, I can't return this. Unfortunately, it's part of the policy that, because I mean, for many reasons. First of all, he is a human. He has a human hand. He has touched these bricks. By Lego quality standards, I can no longer sell these bricks. These are now, they've been touched by the oils of human hands.
They are.
And they're used. I can't sell them anymore. So if I return that, it's garbage. I've returned garbage, and now I throw it somewhere, and I can't sell. I lose the money. Of course, an argument can be made about kids putting their hands in the wall and all that, but we won't get into those weeds. But I can't do it. And so, perfect scenario is he understands, and he gets it, and he walks away. But of course, that's not what happened.
No.
So he's one of those guys, probably something having to do maybe cultural. Like I said, there was an accent in there. And so he went from 0 to 60 in 2 seconds. I mean, this guy got livid instantly. And he's like, absolutely not. I demand my money back. And I'm like, oh, no, I already told you that I can't. I mean, and then he goes, where does it say that? Where does it say that? I go, well, it says it in several places on the back of your receipt. So on the back of the receipt, as many businesses do, they just print the return policy on the back, and it just loops and loops and loops and loops. And the Lego store return policy was very short. It was like that big, because it's like, we return everything but this and this. And so on the back of his receipt, it was printed probably 4, 5, 6 times, that little like cluster.
Mm-hmm.
And it said like pick a brick cups and gift cards are non-refundable. And I said, I turned his receipt, I go, it says it there and there and there and there and there. And he goes, I can't read that. You can't expect anybody to see it. And I'm like, oh my goodness. I mean, the guy was getting so mad at me.
Yeah.
So rude, and just getting in my face. And he started throwing his hands a lot. He was doing a lot of hand gestures. And he goes, you need to have a sign right across the back of your store that says, these things can't be returned. And I go, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, let's do that.
He goes, you need to be telling every person that buys one of these, when they buy it, they can't return it. I'm like, I mean, just, how let us count the ways on why it's my fault.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so, I mean, it got to the point, I mean, he was so incredibly just volatile and rude. And I said, sir, I can't return it for you. It's against the policy. I didn't know about assistant managers. I'm not a supervisor. I'm not a store manager. I have no authority to break the rules for you. I said, you know what? You need to leave, or I will call security and have you escorted out of this store. And he was like, I'll be back. And he like grabbed his cup. And I never saw him again. I mean, maybe he came back in the day, but I never heard about it. But like, that is burned into my brain.
Yeah, that's sad.
And who wants to be remembered for like being the guy that yelled at some kid in a store? But he'll be remembered. I'll remember that.
Yeah, now we have it now on. It's now for the entire time of the world that has YouTube. You said there was another one that was tied.
There was another one.
I do want to hear this one before we cut this one, because I think it'll be
okay. Cool. So this one is kind of, I can't think of a singular story, but so there was a family, a much older family. There was a grandma and a grandpa, and they were of Danish descent.
Oh,
so they came from the homeland somewhere in their lineage. They were not from Denmark. And their last names also happened to be Christensen.
Of course.
So, of course, if you know Lego history and Lego information, the Lego group is owned by the Christensen family. And so they were apparently distantly related to the Christensens. They can't call them up and say, hey, Kel, but they were distantly
on a mama's side, twice removed.
Yeah. And so they were also of money, They were pinkies out. They were of money.
Gotcha. I got you.
And so they didn't live in the immediate area. They were one of the people that were from the Springs. So there's a lovely place called Colorado Springs in Colorado. It's a very wealthy neighborhood. It's where a lot of the wealthier folks live. It's where the very upclass malls are. And I mean, we would talk about this in the store all the time because you'd get the people that were from the Springs.
Yeah.
And they would always make a point to tell you they are from the Springs. So you would sit there and they'd say, "Hi guys, welcome to the store." They'd be like, "Oh, we drove a long way to get here. We're from the Springs." And I'm like, "Do you want an award? Congratulations for driving."
Nailed it.
Of course, these are the things us employees are thinking in our heads. I'm like, I don't know why you always feel a need to tell me this. But so this elderly couple, I think 70s, maybe later,
wow.
Were very, very entitled. So they would always want you to know, did you know that we're distantly related to the Christiansens? Did you know we're from the Springs? Did you know that we have Danish in our blood? Did you know that we're probably your best customers and spend more money in your store than anybody else does? And so, of course, with those things are special treatment, special treatment, special treatment, special treatment. Mm-hmm. And oh my God, like these people, they did have grandkids. They were always buying for their grandkids. Always. Good. That's what they were doing.
Kids got stuff.
So they were spoiled rotten,
right?
Which is okay. It's all good. Grandparents, I think, are all okay to spoil rotten their grandkids.
Absolutely.
But I swear, man, they shopped frequently, and every time they came in, it was like a mad dash to get in the back. It's like, how do I get out of this store? It was just nobody like really wanted to engage with them because they were just so they oozed entitlement, they oozed special treatment. They wanted you to always bend over backwards to do anything for them. And like I said, they always made a point to say, well, we're your best customers. I mean, we're distantly related to the Christensen family. And I'm like, yeah. I mean, I swear to you, even though the staff was so small, mm-hmm. and the turnover wasn't super high, it wasn't super high. Right. So, I mean, they would tell me over and over and over and over. And I'm sitting there going like, yeah. Eventually you just stop catering to it and you just go, yep, you told me that. Yep, you told me that. Yep, you told me that.
I'm still here and you keep coming back and I don't care.
And I had this one guy that I worked with. His name was Robert. And we called him Rob, and he loved trolling them. So I mean, he'd be like, "You don't say, really?" I mean, he would just want to fish for more information. And I mean, they loved him because they'd be like, "Yeah, so our great," or they would go into these stories, and he's like, "You're gonna keep telling me every week, and I'm gonna keep asking you every single week because you act like I don't know." And like they'd say, we're your best customers. He goes, "You know what? You're absolutely right. I don't think anyone spends more money than you guys do." I'm like, well, you are such a troll, man.
I love it.
You're such a troll.
Beautiful.
But those, like I said, there's not really a singular thing they did, but just man, they were there. And I remember there was one time we did a contest, like a giveaway in the store, mm-hmm. and they won. So it's like you have to fill in a form and put it in a box. And I remember somebody pulled it out, or they pulled up the card and they go, "Kev, it's the Christiansens." I was like, no, they don't deserve it. But I mean, of course we gave it to them, and I was like, I'm not calling them. You can call them. And it was funny because I'm pretty sure the person who called them was like, they just told me on the phone that they're our best customers.
Oh, so what the moral of the story is, read the back of your receipt. And don't be entitled.
just hey, be courteous to people that work in retail, and treat them like you want someone to treat yourself. It's just like food. People that work in the food industry and people that work in retail, just treat them with respect. That's all you got to do.
I'm good with the food people. I'm real good with them because I really don't want them spitting in my food, and I do like extra drinks. I like my refills. I'm a thirsty fellow.
Don't mess with the food, folks, man. Don't do it.
So, with that end of that that story there, Kevin, I think we're going to call this episode complete. That was
nice.
that was fun for me. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I know we didn't educate you specifically on. Well, we did. I guess we did.
We did educate on 4 juniors.
We did 4 juniors. If you have any more questions about 4 juniors, you can ask Kevin, or also go to brickset.com. That is where I learned about it, and it's really dumb. So, but I think we're going to delve into promotions maybe the next episode. Inside that store, possibly. Maybe we'll go further on down the rabbit hole of the next place of Kevin's employment.
Nice.
If Kevin wants, if
Absolutely.
he's willing to do yet another episode of Forever Sorting with Kevin A. Hinkle.
I got a lot to sort, man. We'll keep sorting.
Yeah, we will. Me too. So with that said, don't forget to go ahead and give us some questions for Kevin. Via video, via any type of chat, comments, any way you can, that'd be great. Kevin and I would like to give you a video response. And you know how Kevin is, it could be a 30-minute episode of its own. Kevin, no one can see you unless you make noise.
I'm sorry.
There, now you're on
I was making
the face, yeah.
I was doing a shrug.
He's shrugging her way. But again, Kevin, I thank you for indulging me and the community and giving us more information that we can use in our lives. And
you're quite welcome.
Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Find Kevin and all his stuff. It will not be down here in the comments. Sorry. Just do a little legwork. It's fine. Google it.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
He's not. Again, he is not the. What is the other Kevin Hinkle though?
I'm not a joyologist.
He's not a joyologist. Unfortunately, he does bring joy to the community at some level, but he is not an official joyologist.
I'm not certified.
He's not certified. He's certifiable, but not certified. So if you liked what you've seen, tell your friends. I say always T-falls, K-falls, A-falls. Show your parents, show your kids, let them see this. This is gonna win awards someday, Kevin.
Thank you. Are we gonna be standing up, winning some? We're like on the stage when they're playing the music, trying to get us off.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I want to thank Kevin, and there goes the music. All right.
I have a list of people I'd like to thank.
Just give me
my.
But so yeah. Also, if you guys if you guys want a specific full-length episode about it, let us know that too. And I am intending on getting there. We are intending on getting it all done and chronicling as many stories as possible of Kevin's life with Lego. Life with Lego. That would have been a great title.
That's the spin series. That's the spinoff.
Okay. So, well, I'm rambling now. So, Kevin, tell me we got to say goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody.
All right, goodbye, everybody. Thanks for coming. I'm Brick Smith. That's Kevin A. Hinkle. And remember, you gotta love
them bricks.
There it is. Kevin said it. Bye, everybody.